Okay, this is so funny, so we gotta talk about it. Imagine you commission an artist to make a painting and you paid them a solid pretty penny for it, and it was supposed to be something that was going to cherish a treasured memory. And you receive something back that has your jaw on the absolute floor. What would you do? Just curious, because this painting is you're just gonna have to see it because no amount of words from my mouth could describe the eccentricities of it. I don't think I pronounced that word right. Sorry. Let's delve into this situation because this is glorious. This is posted to Threads by user Allison George. And Allison writes, "Hi guys, I received a gift from my niece and I'm on the fence about sharing it. Here's the thing though. I'm pretty sure it will enter into Threads viral lore. It's a painting she had commissioned of my late mother and me. It was a sweet sentiment, but she realized she chose the absolute wrong artist. It was done with a fairly quick turnaround time, but that still can't excuse the final product. I just don't want to give the artist any publicity. Let me know, should I post it?" A comment says, "Nothing, and I repeat, nothing could have prepared me for this." And when I was opening this, I was like, well, how bad could it be, right? Like they probably maybe asked for something and they didn't fully get what they were looking for, but it can't be like the end of the world, right? Just you wait. Allison writes, "Okay, I'll post it. Let me warn you though, it definitely brings up the argument of how art is subjective to the viewer. I, as the viewer though, think it's horrible. Here is what my niece sent the artist to draw. It was supposed to be one of those faceless style portraits." So by that, they're probably referring to, something like this, where it's very like blocked out in terms of the shapes and people don't have facial features drawn in. Allison writes, "Here is what was received." Okay, we're gonna keep the kid's face not censored here because it actually looks so different than the person. It's like a different person. But this was the drawing. Oh my god. Okay, let me get into this real quick, okay? I just want to say, I'm gonna try to tread this with some cautious steps, okay? I think all human art is beautiful. I love the colors they chose for the background. The sky is painted in beautifully. I love the colors for the sky. I love the colors they use for the water. But I think beyond that, we can acknowledge there's some things that are up. Some things that are going on here that have me scratching my head a little bit. Because if you take a look at this piece, this most definitely is done by a beginner artist. I'm not saying beginner artists can't charge money for commissions. If this is the work that was advertised on their page, like every single art piece that they're selling, every example of their commissions, people are cross-eyed and the anatomy is really off and the lines are really wonky. So whomever purchased it knows this is what they're buying, then that's a fair exchange because you know what you're getting. But this doesn't sound like that was the case because according to what Allison writes, they were looking to purchase a faceless portrait. They have faces. So that wasn't also what they were trying to buy. So that already is wrong. So that leads me to believe that this is not what was the skill level advertised by the artist, as in they probably were showcasing other works, possibly maybe stolen works, I don't know, right? That appeared to have a higher skill level than this, because this, the anatomy is completely butchered, completely, which is again fine. Anatomy is hard to get right, hard to draw hands, it's hard to draw fingers. Like, I completely acknowledge that. Based on what OP is describing, it really sounds like they received a product that was very far off from the skill level being advertised. So then the second thing that I would also say is that sure, it can be a very fair game if you do genuinely advertise your skill level. So if every single portrait piece done by this artist looks like this and you advertise it as such and people can buy it fully knowing what they're going to get, that they're going to get an art piece where the eyes are kind of crooked and people are looking in different directions and the lines are all wonky, then sure, you're not false advertising. But I would also say that if this is your skill level and you're offering commissions, you might want to wait a little bit for your skill to improve because you're not going to find many buyers. I'm just being honest, and it can be a little bit harsh to say that, but that's just the honest truth. But going beyond that, taking a look at this art piece, I am flabbergasted that this was delivered as a commission. I'm not even speaking purely on the objective skill level of the artist because the anatomy and everything is completely jacked up. But that to me, it looks like they didn't try because even beginner artists who are really bad with anatomy, like they will try. Even though the anatomy might be off, they will try really hard to get all the lines right. You can see there's effort there. I'm not seeing the effort in this piece. Like, this was a painting And it looks like they took a black Sharpie and Sharpied over stuff and then painted over the black Sharpie again. Like the Eiffel Tower is completely done in with Sharpie, but they didn't even connect all the lines correctly. Like, for some reason, one hand is done in white Sharpie, but everything else for the most part is done in black Sharpie. The late mother is wearing a yellow t-shirt and the lines aren't even connected on the shirt. Like, this is a broken line on the sleeve. They completely gave up on the hands for the kid, by the way. Like, they just drew a big blob for where the two hands meet and just called it a day. There's no attempt. At least they attempted for the mother's hands, but no attempt at the kid's hands. And the thing is, like, after they fucked up, they didn't even try to fix their mess up. Like, here you can see they drew 5 fingernails only on one hand for the mom. They didn't draw fingernails for the other hand. They drew 5 fingernails for one hand. You can see they messed up the fingernail for the index finger and they completely colored it in white and they just left it. Again, this is a beginner level anatomy, but even a beginner artist, if you purchased a portrait commission, right, and they messed up the fingernail, they would go in, paint it over again with skin color, and then draw that fingernail back in again to try to make it correct. Like, looking at this, to me, it just reads as if they were like, fuck, man, I gotta get this done tomorrow. Okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes and draw as fast as possible. And whatever comes out in 1 hour is whatever they're getting. That's what the vibe I get. Like, they didn't even finish painting things in. The light post is painted in brown, the top of it, and they didn't even fully paint it within the lines. Like, same thing for the water of Paris. There's like a river in the Eiffel Tower standing between the river here. You can see they didn't even paint the water in the lines correctly. There's like bleed over here, and there's more bleed here. And the lines for the lamppost aren't even straight. They didn't even put a ruler up, or I don't know, a piece of paper to use as a guideline. They just drew it in one stroke with a Sharpie and it's all wobbly and they're like, okay, cool, whatever. To me, looking at this, my biggest issue for this isn't even the fact that the skill level is more beginner-ish, but it's more so the fact that it reads like they didn't put in any effort at all. Again, they didn't draw any fingernails for the other hand. They just drew 5 on one hand and just forgot about the other hand. And they're like, I don't care. That is the biggest issue, actually, that I have with this. Oh my lord. The commenters, by the way, are so funny. A commenter says, just curious, did your niece see any other work by this artist first? Is the artist name Trust Me, Bro? Another person says, this is a beautiful photo, though. Somebody added a meme picture of a cat with like 2 eyes super far apart. And Allison adds, she did speak to the artist and received a refund. This definitely made for a memorable birthday present, though, and will be talked about in our family for years to come. I hope y'all enjoy this clearly haunted painting. Some more comments. Somebody says, why is nobody talking about the lamppost? Another commenter says, on the plus side, it's clearly not AI. And OP liked it. Another person said, oh my god, they definitely traced this and the artists absolutely cannot paint or draw. They don't understand color theory and it seems like they only picked up a pen for the first time yesterday. But apart from that, it's awful. Somebody says, I've never loved artwork more. Another person says, I'm a portrait artist. In my humble opinion, painting should be returned to artists for full refund. Another person says, is the artist aged 5 years old? If yes, good. Otherwise, I hope it's free. Another commenter says, listen, I think what everyone is missing here is the amount of skill it requires to paint with your non-dominant foot. This clearly is Louvre-worthy in that category. And as somebody replied, thanks, I just shot my drink out of my non-dominant nostril and my wife is calling the psychiatric department. Again, to me, it's just weird because I'm genuinely really confused as what's happening because, like, I see elements of this piece that I think look really good. Like, I think the flowers look really good and I think the sky, the way they blended all the colors together is super pretty. Don't know what happened between the lamppost, the mom and the kid, and the Eiffel Tower because, like, maybe they only do landscape and this is their first portrait drawing, but that wouldn't explain again why it looks so rushed. As in, why are the lines not even? I'm sure they could draw roughly a straight connected line or this like really choppy lamppost that looks like it was done in 2 seconds. Like, to me, the most BM part of this is the fact that it looks so rushed. And we all had a lot of questions we were asking, so Allison gratefully answered them. Point 1, there will be no bashing of my niece for any of her decisions in choosing the artist. She saw the portfolio and asked for a painting based on that. The artist chose to ignore what she wanted. That's what I suspected was the case as well, right? Where the niece, they said faceless. So I suspect, and this is my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, that the portfolio looks something like this, these types of faceless drawings. The niece probably was like, man, this looks good. I want one of these for my family. And then got what we saw. I feel like she was duped. Secondly, Paris was on purpose. My mom loved Paris. That was part of the commission request. 3, this cost a lot of money and did not deliver what was asked for. So that's why a refund was requested. I'm curious what the a lot of money is because everyone's definition is different, but I'm thinking, oh man, I got a number in my head. 3, the artist was made aware of all the issues, so this isn't some behind the back attempt to speak ill of their work. 4, art is meant to be critiqued. This was paid for, so I'm well within my rights to post it for public consumption and criticism. And I do think it's fair. I think it's fair if you're in a situation where you feel like you got duped, right? To kind of be like, hey guys, what's your thoughts on it? You know, just to get another second opinion. I do think if they thought they were going to get a faceless commission, that's clearly not faceless. 5, I'm choosing not to promote the artist because I don't want to bombard them. That's very fair. 6, yes, we do appreciate that it isn't AI art, even if they get the hands wrong like AI does. It could be not AI and still a scam, right? It could be not AI, but the niece could have thought they were purchasing something and received something completely out of the mark of what they thought they were buying. That's still not great, right? They continue. 7, I do plan on hanging it in my home. I love eccentric art, and this does not fall in that category, but it's still going up. The memory of this painting of the laughs is what I think of when I look at it. I also don't want to anger the spirits who clearly haunt it. OP is so funny. I love this. 8, my mom absolutely would have loved this. Not as a lover of art, but as somebody who loved laughing at ridiculous things. And 9, my niece knows I posted this. She's reading all the comments too. The whole gift was given with a preface on how bad she knew it turned out. It was still given to me because my family knew I would get a kick out of it and a great laugh. That's the beauty of it at the end of the day, right? Being able to laugh, being able to smile, especially with loved ones, is the beauty of it. So the artist did gift this family that, right? The gift of some silly laughs and a story that will be told for generations. But on the artist side, unless every single one of your portfolio photos looks like that painting, I would advise you redo your portfolio because it doesn't look like you're selling what you seem to be claiming you're selling from what I gauge as somebody who does not know who the artist is. So what are your thoughts at the end of the day? And if you received a painting like this, what would be your reaction? I think my reaction honestly would be exactly the same as Allison's because I love laughing at silly things. I love like stupid looking plushies and figurines, and that painting to me is a very silly looking painting that would make me laugh, so I would love it. And again, if your art looks like that, I don't want you to feel bad at all. In this case, this is a situation where it was not what was advertised. Again, they thought they were buying a faceless painting, so it was not what was advertised, and that is adding to the laughability of this. So with that, if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there. I'm also on Spotify now, and I'm trying to get my Instagram to 100K if you would like to go and follow me there. We're 6K away. I know it's far, but we're working on it. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST, or Thursdays at 7:30, where I do a podcast with my friend. So I hope to catch y'all there or in another video. Peace.